You already know what it is. Got in the Howard in this.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, what's up, what's good? Subscribe down below. And if you're not new to my channel, then welcome back. Welcome. I said I'm back. So as you can see by the title, as you can see by the I got into Howard, my dreams. I got into my dream college. I got into my dream school, Howard University, the Mecca, the Howard University, the #1 HBCU. Not really, we really #2, but the presidential. If you've been following my channel, you already know that I've been trying to get into Howard since sophomore year. I've talked about it in numerous videos, and in December I finally got in. Still waiting on financial aid, but I just wanted to say that I got into my dream school. You already know what it is. I'm going to show y'all my reaction for getting in, and then I'm going to tell y'all how I got into Howard for those who want to know. People applying regular decision, HU 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and my subscribers who may just want to know what's up. So first, I just kind of want to talk about the process. So I applied to Howard in October. I believe I applied October 21st, and the deadline for early action, because I applied early action, but the deadline for early action was November 1st, and I applied October 21st. So, you know, I was kind of early teens. We were supposed to get decisions on December 11th, but they pushed it back, and I was like, okay, no worries. Then they said we was gonna get decisions on December 18th. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Basically, Howard said that we were supposed to get decisions on December 18th, which was a Friday. So everybody was waiting all day long for a decision. Like, we want to know, did we get into your school or not? So basically, they never sent it out that day. Like, they didn't even send it out that day, and they told us that day that they were gonna roll them out. Like, they never sent nothing. So yeah, stayed up all night. I think I stayed up that night until like 5 a.m. thinking there was gonna be something. Then I went to sleep. Next day I woke up like at 12 to my decision, and I'm gonna show y'all my reaction. Is it recording? Alright, y'all, I'm finna check my Howard decision. I'm not even opening my, they're so late, I'm not even opening my stuff. Okay, so I can see on my phone, it say, it say your admission decision is waiting. Okay. I get in. So yeah, that was basically my reaction to getting in. I was looking very dry, very crusty, very unprepared. I just woke up. It was the best day ever. It was the best day ever. Yes, I'm wearing pajamas. Don't do it. It was the best day ever. And I'm just gonna kind of tell y'all about the process for those who may want to apply to Howard, for those who just, you know, may want to apply to HBCU similar to Howard. I'm just showing y'all how I got in. I honestly feel like there's no better way to start than to start with stats. My GPA was a 3.54 unweighted and a 3.77 weighted, which is right target for Howard. It's not, I'm not gonna bash my GPA because my GPA is fuego and I worked hard for it, but it's definitely not the highest GPA, but it's not the lowest GPA. It's just kind of upper mid range, I would say. Now, you know, this year we could go test optional and everything like that, so I was really battling with going test optional or not, because I didn't have the score that I wanted. because the last time I had took the SAT was last year, my junior year, and I think I had got like a 1050. So that was the only score that I had at the time. And basically I was gonna go take it like in the spring and take it again in the summer so I could be ready by senior year, but COVID said, baby, we not doing none of that. We not doing none of that. I walked into senior year with only my score from the first time I took the test. But then I was trying to schedule a day for me to go take the SAT. Like, I had been studying, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I bought all these books. I bought me a little calculator. I bought everything. I was studying using Khan Academy, UWorld. I was studying for the SAT, but my date kept getting canceled due to COVID. So my date kept getting canceled. I had the October SAT, it got canceled. I was really like, oh my gosh, like, I guess I'm just gonna have to apply test optional, which I really did not want to do. And this was back when I did not trust test optional. I was like, no, like, I don't want to go test optional. I was honestly considering waiting till RD to apply so I could take my test and get a decent score, because I didn't want to apply test optional because I feel like I wasn't going to get any money, and I just feel like I wasn't going to get in or anything, any money, financial aid. I don't know where I got this from, but like, test optional is a new thing this year, so you can't blame me for having a little distrust in it. I ended up actually getting to take the ACT in October, and I got a 24, which I wanted a 25 or higher, but I got a 24. And to be fair, this was my second time taking it. The only time I had took it was junior year during a practice, so really don't do me. Like, I mean, it's not a bad score, but like, definitely could have did better. But I did not have the options to take it, but I got the 24, and I was like, it was the last test day for Howard, because the last test date you could do was the October date, because you had to turn in your, you know what I'm saying. So did that, and I just sent it. I just sent it to Howard. I was like, look, have it, do what you want to do with it. It was the average ACT for Howard is a 25, and I had a 24. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, that's average. I could just send it in. Basically, my stats were about target. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Stats don't mean a dang on thing. They don't mean nothing. Nothing. They're only a part of your application, and I always heard this for Howard, but this year I really saw it. I really saw it. But we're gonna get to that. So next, we're gonna talk about extracurriculars. Now, I feel like this is honestly where I shine the most. So we did have to do a resume. Well, we didn't have to, it was optional, but optional basically means required. So I did do a resume, and that was more suitable for me anyways, because on Common App you only get 10 spaces, and I had a lot more than 10 activities that I wanted to show. So basically, I made a resume. This was my first resume. It was super duper long. I think it was like 4 pages. Not super duper long. I've seen people with like 8 pages and all that, but it was about 3 or 4 pages, and it was really concise, and it was a good resume. I would never give that to a job or anything like that, because it was very lengthy, overly long, and overly detailed. But for college admissions, I feel like that was viable. Some of the top extracurriculars I had were obviously my YouTube channel. A lot of people don't want to put their YouTube channel on their college application, but it is definitely something that I've done all 4 years of high school, and it's like, I did put my subscriber count on there, and like some of my videos on there. I gave them a whole link to my channel, because I just feel like I have nothing to hide. Like, my channel is very much age appropriate and everything like that. And even if it wasn't, I mean, well, if it wasn't, I wouldn't have gave it to them, but like, I'm saying, like, my channel is like family friendly. I put some of the brands I work with. Girl, I was really milking it, because I just feel like, I mean, hey, do what you gotta do. Then the second thing I did, I put my business on there. Y'all know I got a business, Urban Black Girl, and basically it is for the empowerment of Black girls and women. So we do sell, like, you know, Black girl empowerment shirts, stuff for our hair, you know, cute stuff, you know what I'm saying, because it's about empowerment and just general like celebration of Black girls. And I've been had my business since junior year, the fall of junior year, so I had it for a minute, and I put some of the things that I did through my business. Like, I did a small fundraiser in June and stuff like that, so I did that. Then I did put my editing, because I do edit for other people on the side. That's my little side hustle, so I started that during quarantine, and I put that on there. And then that was kind of the big things that I did. That was the top 3. So we're gonna talk about clubs and stuff and things like that, because I definitely did do things in school. I was very involved in and out of school. So some of my top clubs, I did choir. So I did choir, which is not necessarily a club, but I did choir 3 years. I did pop ensemble freshman year because I went to another school, but I did choir 3 years at my art school. And basically some of the leadership positions I had, I was section leader in 10th grade for our beginner choir, beginner girls choir. So I was section leader. I was also section leader, and then in 11th grade I was on the choir student council or whatever, and I was the historian and editor and stuff like that. So basically I made graphics for social events, and I edited stuff for, yes, and I took pictures and everything like that. So you see how it's kind of like all coming together. So I did that. I was on prom committee and I was on the promotions team, but we never had a prom anyway, but Howard don't know that. So I was on prom committee, on the promotions team, and I was on the decorating team, but we never did it. I was in African American Girls Club. I was in speech and debate for a little while, I think 2 years. I'm also a part of YMCA Black Achievers right now, so that's something I'm doing now, and I'm just a club member, child. I was the youth choir leader at my church. That's something I did all 4 years. Bow. I was in the choir, youth choir leader. I was a soloist. I sang at fundraisers for my church, everything like that. Helped other kids in our choir, helped the choir director, and I also got a rec letter from our choir director, because that's how we do it. I did do some community service, donated to the Angel Tree Drive for the Salvation Army, volunteered to donate all 4 years through my church, and this year I did it outside of my church. I was a nurse home volunteer with my dad through my church for all 4 years of high school, so that was kind of like a big community service right there. I did some other things here and there. I can't really remember. Did a little Christmas volunteer thing, did some other stuff, whatever. I did have a job sophomore year, during the summer, my sophomore year or junior year, whatever you call it. I worked at an ice cream shop. My freshman year I had an internship at a children's theater, and for honors I think I did mid-state regional for 1 year. Through my choir I had honor roll some years, perfect attendance some years. Oh, and I put my YouTube award on there. You see that right there? That went on my honors. So I said I had a YouTube Creator Society plaque. Okay. I was definitely trying to stand out and just kind of, you know, show my personality through my application essays. So it took me a very long time to figure out what I wanted to write about. I think I started brainstorming for my essay in August, end of August, started drafting in September, and I went through probably about 7 drafts on 7 different topics. Then eventually I finally found my topic. So basically what I wrote about for my personal essay was, I'll give y'all a snippet of it. So I'm gonna give y'all a little snippet of my essay. As the sun tucked itself away and night fell, I lay awake with a clouded mind. I slid out of bed and grabbed the nearest notebook on my crowded desk. My fingers blindly traced my name embedded in the cover. I grabbed a pencil, ready to release the stressful events of the day. Watching my parents worry about financial hardships left me unsettled by night, so I began to write. My pencil glided against the smooth paper, composing the first stanza. I paused for a moment, reading back what I wrote. Money. The fear of not having any, the privilege of having too much. But it's never just money. My essay was basically about how I use poetry as an emotional outlet. So the money part, blah blah blah, was like a snippet from a poem I wrote not a long time ago, a few years ago, whatever. But I basically use that because I write poems when I'm like sad or emotional, or just like for an emotional outlet or whatever. I write poetry, and you know, I write. But it's not something that was on my application or anything like that, because I don't do like spoken word concerts. I don't do my poetry in public. I do my poetry in private. So I felt like that was really good to like probably talk about that through my essay. So I kind of talked about how I use poetry throughout my life. I'll probably read my essay in another video. If y'all are interested, tell me if y'all are interested in hearing it. But yeah, I highly recommend to dive deep in your essay. It doesn't have to be sappy. My essay wasn't necessarily sappy. I know it probably kind of sounds like that from the first get-go, but it was more focused on how I use poetry in different situations in my life. So yeah, I definitely recommend diving in deep. It doesn't have to be sad, but just make something really personable to you. Maybe not put your whole resume on your essay. I mean, that could work. I've seen it work for a few people, but I feel like your best bet is to just divulge into something personal and make how you want to make a change, or how you deal with something, or anything that's just genuinely personable to you. Along with that essay, we were required to write a not required, but it was highly recommended for us to write a supplemental essay. So my supplemental essay, I am going to be a business marketing major in the School of Business. So my supplemental essay was how I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be creative, and I felt like I didn't know I wanted my career to be, or whatever. So I'm just gonna read probably like the first few lines. Okay. Cartoons assured me as a child that all business jobs consisted of only sitting in gray boxed-in cubicles, answering phone calls of not so happy clients, and crunching numbers. With my desire to be creative, this was the last field I envisioned working in for the rest of my life. At the time, I wanted to draw, to sing, to dance, anything that would let my younger self express her creativity. For years to this day, I take every chance I can to be creative, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. However, I still could not answer the classic question that my relatives shot at me during every family reunion. What do you want to be when you grow up? So I felt like that was a really strong opener, kind of brought it in. Kind of a contrast, like this is not what I thought I wanted to do. This is not where I thought I would be. And it's true, I never thought I would be doing business. Like when I was younger, baby, you could not tell me that I would be... Baby, I grew up wanting to go to SCAD. Like, you could not tell me that I was going to be a business major. But basically, how I realized that I can be creative in marketing, and that I can find a creative outlet through business recommendation letters. So I ended up getting 3 recommendation letters. I got 2 teachers and 1 outside recommendation letter. I think you could get up to 4, maybe. I don't remember, but I got 3. So I got my math teacher. I struggled really bad in math 11th grade. Well, I struggled generally really bad in math, but 11th grade I was trying to get my GPA up, so I would stay in math tutoring like every week. Like I would stay in math tutoring, and I would stay, and we would, you know what I'm saying, like I had a really close relationship with my math teacher. I asked him, he helped me find a tutor. Yeah, I cried in his class a lot, y'all. Math be stressing me out. But basically, we had a really close relationship. He was also the club leader of my African American Girls Club. Kind of weird, but like, yeah. So we had a super like close student teacher relationship. So of course I had to ask him to write my rec letter. He was really happy to, and he was telling me like it was good and all that. I have yet to read it. He said he'll let me read it because I asked, obviously, because I want to read it. But like he said he'll let me read it whenever, and I was like, okay, I'll ask after application season and scholarship season is over, so probably like at the end of the year. And I got my AP teacher, my AP US history teacher, to write one for me, just because I didn't really need it, but I wanted it, only because I always talked in his class and I always participated in discussions. Also, I passed the AP class with a 4, so gotta get them in there on that, okay? I also did sit in the front of his class. Was definitely one of them kids in there. I was always raising my hand. I was always participating in discussions, but that's only because I ended up finding the class really interesting. Then of course I asked my church choir director to write my letter, because that was like a community-based thing, and I actually saw that letter after everything was said and done. He sent it to me, and I was like, oh my god, it was really good. And so yeah, I had 3 good letters. 2 I'm sure were good, 1 I'm sure was decent, but it don't even matter. I had 3 letters and they were all pretty strong. Get rec letters from teachers that you're, you know, cool with. If you have any close relationships with teachers, or teachers that knew you for a long time, then I would say definitely get a recommendation letter from them, because recommendation letters, I really believe that they do really help. I think that's pretty much everything, but I do want to leave y'all with this very important tidbit. Applying to Howard is more than your stats. I saw people with high GPAs, 1300 SAT, 3.8 GPA, higher than the average of Howard's stats. You can look on TikTok if you don't believe, and they got rejected. Don't fall into believing that your statistics mean everything. I promise you, if you are the type of person and you don't have a lot of time, I would definitely recommend putting your time into extracurriculars and making real experiences. I can't stress enough. Don't let your grades slip. Don't let your grades slip. But look, Howard cares about extracurriculars and essays and personable people. Howard wants people with real personalities beyond their stats. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. If you have a high GPA, high test score, no extracurriculars, no interest in essays, you are not getting in. I'm not admissions. I'm not, disclaimer, I'm not admissions, but you may not receive admission because Howard, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. If you are watching this right now and you like feel like your GPA is too low, you feel like your test score is too low, you feel like your grades are too low, please, as long as you have some good personal experiences, some nice extracurriculars, some leadership, like you were involved, you live a real life, like you have a real personality and it shows through your essays, trust, you will be okay. I'm telling you, listen, I was in that group chat, I saw them people, and yes, people do get rejected. I never believed it because no one talks about it. People get rejected, especially this year, and it's gonna carry on to next year. People get rejected, people get deferred, it happens. It's very, very, very real. Let's zoom me out though. This is getting a bit awkward. I would recommend applying early action only because you have a better chance. There's a lot of different opinions on this. I would say if you are ready to apply early, apply early. Definitely shoot to apply early. They can really get a good look at you and, you know, see how you fit into their student body. Early action rates are at 50 something percent. I don't know about this year, but last year they were at 50 something percent versus the overall 32% rate for the whole school. That's really all I got for y'all. That's how I got into Howard, my dream school. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I am currently waiting on financial aid, so that's a thing. I am not committed 100% yet, but girl, I'm manifesting and praying that everything looks right and applying to these scholarships, so hopefully everything comes through and comes together. Anyways, I love you guys so much, and peace.